Hi, Shirley here, and this video is a requested video by G Girl, who asked me about addiction and why would a soul choose to put itself through the journey of addiction when it incarnates into this world. So I'm going to begin with, before I sort of tell my own perspective of addiction, I want to begin with the cards and see what message do I get from the cards that can lead me to the sort of play. About addiction. Okay. So, the cards I got was go against the flow, go against the flow, and give up controlling the world. And that's very interesting in relation to what I was about to speak about. So, flow and waters have no clear boundaries. They flow, right? They don't have a shape. And it's a Neptunian quality. The archetype of Neptune is relating to this quality of water. No boundaries, dissolution of boundaries. And, oh, I'm showing the wrong card. No boundaries. And there are addictions related to that Neptunian quality that I'm going to talk about, like substance abuse. The dissolution of boundaries between this realm and other realm. Addictions to other realms. And another type of addiction is related to the archetype of Pluto, and that is addiction to power. So in psychology, we now know that addiction has a lot to do with not being able to process and face our own emotions. So we turn to other things to distract us from our own emotions. And B, being isolated and cut off support systems. So being able to form connections, so isolations. And now let's take a look at the question spiritually. Why would we want to go through that? So when it comes to addiction to power, the soul's journey is curious about the experience of empowerment embodied in this realm, in the realm of physical incarnation on Earth. So the theme around this is the theme of power. What is feeling disempowered? What is feeling empowered? And so the emotions that go around this, of humiliation, of fear, of emptiness, of jealousy, of anger, something, the power is out there, I want the power to be here. Or the power is in here and I run away from it. So being a victim, feeling disempowered. These are all emotions around the theme of power. So the theme of power is a trajectory, and the soul sort of swirls around it and expands and contracts and expands and contracts, but it has a trajectory where it eventually is, its trajectory is to heal and to feel all of these experiences in relation to power. And so it may come about in ways that when I use this substance, I feel a sense of having the power. Or when I use this substance, I feel a sense of letting go. And I need this to let go. And the substance can be a person. And so addiction can also be to people and to connections, basically. But the soul is on the path of self-empowerment, and it's sort of trying to go there and seek in power in all kinds of places until it finds true empowerment. By grounding, by incarnating in the body, by embodying love, and by being able to speak and connect from the heart. When it comes to the Neptunian path, that is the path of other realms, the exploration is actually of the dissolution of the ego and dissolution of boundaries and longing to reach oneness with everything. You can do that with meditation, or you can try to induce that with relationships and drugs. And to truly experience that oneness with everything, we also experience the separation, the isolation, the aloneness, because we need to ground, the soul needs to ground into the body. It needs to fully incarnate. And to experience a somatic experience of life. The soul, the consciousness needs to fully be present in the body and feel. Because if we want to be one with something, we need to be one with ourselves first. And it's a painful process because we have all these Pluto stuff as well. And so we can get addicted to other realms, to being somewhere else. And that is what I would say addiction to the upper chakras, to the astral field, to traveling, to astrally being elsewhere. But if I want a good experience, I have to heal the lower chakras. And the Pluto addictions are actually addictions to the lower chakras, to feeling empowered or disempowered through sex, through money, through power relations, through the physical world. And that depends on how Pluto touches your personal planets. And what we need to understand when we ask why would I want to go through this, is that this is the path. To explore other realms, it's like you want to solve a problem, a mathematical problem, and you come up with this equation, but then you see that you had a miscalculation there. You don't give it up. You just do it again and do it again and do it again until you find a beautiful equation that well describes the phenomena that you wanted, or a set of equations that well describe the phenomena and the processes that you wanted to describe mathematically. It's creativity, and it takes time, and it can be very frustrating. The process can be very frustrating until you get there. But that's the path. To feel true empowerment, you go through the processes and the teaching of of what is disempowerment, what is being empowered, what is being the one who hurts people, what is being the one who is hurt by people, what is being in a lower position of power, what is being in a higher position of power, and what is being in an equal position of power. What does it mean? And so you explore that from many different perspectives until you sort of get that this is true empowerment for me. And each soul has its own answer of what it's like, what the expression of empowerment is in their own body and creative expression and career and relationships and sexuality. And the theme of exploring other realms, there's curiosity, bringing a sense of curiosity as to the realms and the sites and the archetypes and the experiences and the somatic experiences and the somatic experiences in the astrals and the experiences that seems like we don't have so much somatic bodily experience. It's exploration in its sense, and you learn how to do this exploration when you are grounded with love. But it takes time, because at first these explorations are like, oh, this is a beautiful, out there is beautiful, upstairs is beautiful, out of my body is beautiful, inside my body is terrible. No, 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 no. You go to travel when you are grounded at home, when you have a safe home to return to. Only then you can have safe travel, when you have a safe world to return to inside your body. And you can have a safe place to return to inside your body. You create this experience slowly, slowly within your body, doing what I talked about in my previous video of grounding yourself, opening your heart and channeling love and anchoring it in your body, giving yourself a pleasant touch, hugging yourself, embodying love. And since the soul is curious, it sees no good and bad or good and evil in the experiences that it describes. Think about the colors in a painting. A painting is not good or bad. It has various shades of various colors. And so you explore these colors and you're drawn to certain colors, and then you're drawn to other colors. And then something happens and you have had enough of these colors. You just had enough of it. And your taste changes. And that gives a certain perspective as to why. Because it's a journey. Because we explore. Because beyond or through the tunnel of addiction, on the other side, there is empowerment that we ground to this world. And there is a sense of exploration that we also ground. So there is presence in our body and healthy boundaries that we learn. And then there is also a sense of connection and opening up and being permeable, and also having boundaries there. So there is me and there is you. And we can merge, and we can go back to being isolated and alone. Alone, not in a sense of loneliness, but separated. And that's a sort of a journey with bumps on the road that we go through in our lives. If you think about the moments of crisis, of pain, of helplessness, many times they were also attached to epiphanies and insights and pleasure and discovery. and a sense of discovery, because there's an inner little pure light consciousness that brings light to this darkness and experiences a sense of discovery. And this sense of discovery alchemizes that which seemed dark, and it creates beautiful art out of it. It creates beautiful sensual experiences out of it. And it is also true to remember that our path of enlightenment is not only through pain and suffering. Yes, pain and suffering can be paths of enlightenment. We can also experience enlightenment through joy, through peace, through even neutrality, and integrate joy and peace without escaping from pain. It's a challenge, and our souls expands and contracts like the breath of the lungs and the breath of the universe that expands and contracts. And there is also a spiral movement. If you take a look at the way the stars and planets circle around the sun, so there is cyclic movement, but it's not just a round cycle. It goes like that, sort of a spiral that has a trajectory, and the sun is sort of leading the planets, and they circle around the sun. The sun sort of moves, and the cosmos moves. So that's a part of the new discoveries of science of how the planets move. And our journey of the soul is quite similar. It's a spiral up, and there is expansion and contraction, so we can feel contraction and experience what we call dark night of the soul. And then we go through this and we breathe through this, and then we expand, and there's new life. Birth is like a cliche example of this. There's contraction, then expansion, and the baby comes through, and there's new life incarnating into the world. And birth does not have to be a painful process. You learn to breathe into the body, and it can be an orgasmic process. For some, I'm child-free myself, so I give this description because this is what comes up, but it's not from a personal experience or from my body of birth. And I know that there are women who experience birth as an orgasmic experience because they learn how to give birth first, and they're open to that. What else do I have to say about addiction? When we are in a place of empowerment, then we can let go of control without letting go of our boundaries. And then we can flow with our waters, even if it's against the flow of what other people think, people's opinions about us. Because we have an inner support system, and we also have a support system of other people or like-minded people that we can turn to on the web, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram. There are communities of people that we can turn to, and we can form a support system. So I hope this was helpful. It gives a sense of perspective. It doesn't make the journey any more difficult, and that is not to take the fact that or the belief that the soul chooses a certain path, and that path includes pain and suffering. does not take away from the pain or the suffering or the experience, because we embody the movie that we play in this simulation of incarnation, and we experience it as real. We embody that. This is the path. This is what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to embody that. And when we also are supposed to maintain a sense of perspective that, okay, this is a movie right now, and I'm gonna wake up from this illusion after having learned a lot and having experienced a lot in this incarnation. So if there is pain, if there is suffering, if there is feeling of helplessness, if there is feeling of disempowerment, what I say is not to take away from this feeling or experience, because I can't go through the soul journey with you. And there can be even anger at the soul. Why did you choose this path? And this is okay. It is okay. I think whatever helps to ease the process, and whatever helps to gain a sense of perspective, and whatever helps to find a community that is beneficial, that is empowering, and whatever helps to feel our feelings. And sometimes we need to use temperature, and we need to use fabrics, different fabrics, to use our senses to sort of neutralize our emotions and bring them into a place and an extent that we can contain it. And we also need to focus on something external, like even counting the leaves of a tree, or paying attention to the shades of a drawing that are going to take us away from our inner mental and emotional world. This is focusing. I think Daniel Siegel talks about this. So those are things that can help. And of course, if there are trusted practitioners that one can turn to, holistic practitioners, body-mind healers, support groups, that can be very beneficial for going through the life journey with other souls that shows certain paths, and meet them along the way and grow with them. So thank you, G Girl, for asking this beautiful, 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 deep question. If you have other questions, if you have any questions about this video or any requests from me, then feel free to ask it in the comments. And you can turn to Instagram, DM me on Instagram, or private PM me on Facebook. I read private messages, and I try to sort of answer whatever I can with my knowledge and experience. So I'll see you in my next video. Have an amazing day.